Hey there, YouTube. Medwitch here. So I'm going through some of my some of the channels I'm subscribed to, and I keep going across a lot of my subscribed channels are other pagans within the YouTube community. Shout out to all of them if you guys are watching. I love your videos. I have watched your videos. I especially love your videos for the YouTube Pagan Challenge, which I will be uploading it my fourth week very shortly. But going from one pagan to another to another to another. It seems like we're all linked up now. YouTube finally got smart and started putting recommendations of brethren down, and I've been watching new videos and everything from you guys, and um, but I also I forgot who I was watching, um, but they were talking about they were making a video response. I'm so sorry if I forgot who did it, but they were making a video response to the dangers of witchcraft and uh, other pagans or people of differing religions converting over to Christianity. Well, I ended up coming across this spiritual deception, the implications and dangers of yoga. Yoga, yoga. In the Western world, we do know this as a form of exercise and in many cases meditation. In Hindu traditions and in some Buddhist traditions, it's it is a form of meditation of spiritual connection. This lady, uh, she has an accent. I can't really pinpoint it, but she does have an accent, so it might be a little hard to understand her. I do have my phone turned up. It's not much of a video. It's just these chains going around and around and around in a circle. But it's a 10-minute long video. I'm not going to go through it all. I did watch it all. It's just the first half of the video that I want to touch base on. It's basically the same thing throughout the video. The first half of it I would like to touch on, and you can pretty much get the gist of the rest of the video. Uh, So, disclaimer, I do not practice yoga. I do Tai Chi instead. To me, they have very similar physical aspects to it, as in the slow, deliberate movements, uh, sometimes the holding of the poses, and it is actually a very relaxing way to exercise. So, it's, just people just don't believe this, and I want to play the sound since, like I said, all the video is just this. That's all it is, and it just keeps going around and around and around. But I'm using this under fair use law, so don't sue.
Praise the Lord. I like to go over the dangers of yoga and the spirit, the ruling demon behind this practice. By the grace of God, I will post a prayer after this, but you will do well to find the links under this video. Just click on them and locate whatever it is you need. There are prayers against serpents, serpent powers, and there's a personal testimony from a guy who was delivered from this spirit. So please go through those links and see what you find.
I did look at these links. They're very biased against yoga. These are Christian founded websites that speak against yoga. These aren't unbiased sources such as Google or Wikipedia. If you want unbiased research, use Wikipedia. They don't claim good or bad out of anything. They just give you the straight out facts, and that's it. That's all they do. Is this is what it is. This is when it came about. This is what they practice. This is what they believe. Plain and simple. They actually use actual facts. They don't use any religious influence or talk against any traditions. But her links are very biased.
Alright, first of all, the spirit ruling demon of this act is widely known as Kundalini. But Kundalini is actually a serpent. When I saw this serpent in the realms of the spirit, it looked like a dragon. The head was like that of a dragon with several heads. I can't tell you how many heads, but there were many. But there was one interesting
Also known as a hydra.
feature about it. It was able to fly in the air. Now, of course, this reminds me of the flying serpents described in Isaiah 14, verse 29, and many other verses throughout Scripture. Isaiah 14:29 says, "Rejoice not, O Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent." If you remember, the Israelites came in contact with this flying serpent as well. So you would do well to go through the scriptures and get educated on this topic. Don't take my word for it.
Take your own advice, get educated on your scripture because it is very sexist and misogynistic. And if you actually read the Bible, you would be appalled, and as a female, would not be practicing Christianity. Just saying.
Yoga is a spiritual deception, but a lot of people are convinced that yoga enlightens their spiritual intelligence and enhances their physical fitness. Thousands of people have had strange experiences while practicing yoga, but not all.
I'm sorry, but I was doing about an hour's of research on this, and all the strange experiences that she talks about are from biased sources, and not. I just can't believe the what these people were saying. They were saying like in the middle of a pose or something, they would see a demon or a shadow, or like she said, a serpent with many heads or some BS. So I have not personally found an unbiased experience of negativity within yoga. And I do my research. I scoured the internet looking for something that was unbiased. Could not find one.
All of them have been fortunate as those who have been delivered from it, because some have become insane, they've been driven to suicide, and some have actually died. The
Again,
fact that
no
you do
evidence.
not know the dangers of something does not exonerate you from the consequences of your actions. There are several spiritual implications for your actions if you practice yoga. And besides, you also open spiritual doors to the enemy, and you give him a right to operate in your life, especially standing upon that which you're doing. As we go down the list, you begin to see why practicing yoga actually gives the enemy a doorway into your life and a legal right to operate. One branch of yoga, or path as they call it, is called Hatha Yoga, which is widely practiced by people in the West. Some of the positions in this path of yoga are obviously of the occult. Consider the cobra position, which is usually followed by greeting the sun and taking the pose of the mountain.
Okay, like I said, I practice Tai Chi, and there are many poses. If you go to the extended version, I think uh, there's like 38 poses in the long extended version. I don't practice that version. I practice the condensed version, which is only 12 poses. And each pose, each movement has a name. And it's to represent what what you are doing, to give you an idea, to give you a visual idea. For instance, in Tai Chi, there's parting the horse's mane left and right, and basically what it's doing is it's going like this, and you're basically it's like you're taking your hand underneath the mane and then going like this to part the mane, and that's what it means. It gives you the idea to actually part the mane. So naming a pose such as the cobra, like I said, I don't practice yoga, so I don't know any of the positions, but the cobra, greeting the sun, the mountain, these positions give you a visual of what they're supposed to look like. So, a cobra, would like rear its head and then its hood would pop up. So maybe it's a visualization of you rearing up and putting your arms out or something. Greeting the sun, probably just putting your hands up in the air, holding that position for a little while, because putting your hands up, for any extended period of time, does build muscle mass. Believe it or not, it does tone you up. Do it with a water bottle, a full water bottle. Hold your hand out like this for 5 minutes. Really good exercise. So don't say that just because it's named, it's part of the occult. It's just not.
These are all positions which are designed to welcome Hindu gods. Shiva is also known as the destroyer. Shiva's consort is Kali, which is a goddess of death. Now tell me, what has a believer to do with the goddess of death?
I'll tell you that right now. In lots of pre-Christian religions, we view death ju- as a stepping stone, and even in a lot of modern day practices, death is it's inevitable, and we acknowledge that by worshiping or following a specific deity that rules over death. Death, in and of itself, is not a bad thing. And as a Christian, I would expect you to believe the same way. Because if you're a Christian and you do as the Bible tells you and you believe in Jesus Christ and, yada, 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 and you're saved or born again or whatever, you believe that you're going to go to heaven, which is an eternity of peace and happiness and love and prosperity and whatever else and whatnot. Wouldn't that be a good thing to go to then? I mean, I'm not saying, you should look forward to death. I mean, this life right here is actually, you know, pretty insightful in and of itself. But if your version of the afterlife is a good thing, for the majority of the part, it's a good thing. And the prerequisites to get to the good side of the afterlife, or the positive side, is you know like this, just small, then having that death deed, as human beings we are naturally afraid of death. Nobody wants to die. I sure in the hell don't want to die, but unfortunately I know I'm going to. So yes, I do have particular deities that do rule over the death cycle and the underworld, because I want to know what's going to happen. I want to personally know what's going to happen after death. And following these deities or worshiping these deities of life and death just symbolizes the balance and basically nature in and of itself. So that's why there's a lot of people who follow or worship deities of death. Death is not, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it hurts. It does hurt the people who are still here in the living world because you're gone.
As you practice yoga, you welcome these demonic forces into your life and grant them power over you. You give them absolute right to do whatever they want to do in your life. The idea that hatha or hatha yoga is purely physical is very much a distortion of the truth. It was the Lord Krishna, one of the Hindus' many millions of deities, who
Hundreds of thousands, not millions.
introduced the ritual of yoga as a way of achieving union with the universe. The Sanskrit word yoga actually means union or yokin, aiming at bringing about the union of the human spirit with the spirit of the universe. But what it actually means is a separation from the physical illusion of life. Now remember, a great
I don't understand what she she means by the physical illusion of life, because life in and of itself is not an illusion. I mean, you're if you're sitting here watching this video right now, you're alive. That is fact. That is reality. It is not an illusion. You are alive. But then again, I guess she was saying that the practice of yoga, in and of itself, yes, is a meditative practice. And like I said again, in the Western world, it is a physical discipline. In the Eastern world, it is a physical, mental, and spiritual discipline. And yeah, it is any form of meditation. I don't care if it's yoga, tai chi, martial arts, reading a book, crocheting, knitting. I don't care. Any form of meditation, in and of itself, will give you some sort of mental or spiritual enlightenment. For instance, if you're having a problem with a coworker, instead of punching him in his face, go outside, take a few deep breaths, concentrate on the problem, calm down. That's what meditation. Calm down, and then go back to that situation in a more enlightened manner. Because now you had time to actually calm down, to breathe, to relax, and to actually think about the situation. You were just about to punch him in his face, and you're like, and then you were like, okay, I calm down. Look, you're upsetting me, and then you just take care of the situation like that. So, so yes, it is spiritual enlightenment in most cases. Not everybody practices yoga for a spiritual purpose. Like again, the Western world mainly practices yoga as a physical discipline or exercise. You see the chicks that do yoga? They're fit, they're skinny, their muscles are hard and wired. They have flat stomachs. They're a little too small for my taste, but still, they are fit. They are considered to be fit, and they do yoga. They don't do it for a spiritual purpose. They do it to look good, to fit in that size zero bikini or whatever. That's it.
part of Hindu teaching is that this world and all we see is nothing more than an illusion. Ironically, while yoga in the West
I don't uh I don't know anything about Hinduism, so I'm not going to touch on that. But um I'm going to assume it's not true. If you do practice Hinduism, please correct that for me. She just said that in Hinduism they believe that this life that the physical world around us is nothing but an illusion. I don't believe this is true. I think what she's trying to do is, well, basically demonize everything. It's, common conservative Christian.
Is more often promoted as a way to achieve health and a better way of living. In the East, where it originated, it is more openly understood to be a way of dying.
She doesn't expand on that part. Um, except as, I'm only assuming that it's spiritual. And to be honest, it is that's yoga has had its uh, implications in fields of science that suggest a better health standard, meaning lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, just things like that because you're actually exercising. Combine that with a proper diet, you're going to be very healthy. So if yoga promotes death, then talk to, all these yogi masters and even the students of yoga. They're I'm pretty sure they feel a hell of a lot better. Me, I'm a smoker. You can't catch me running. I'll be don't smoke. Do yoga, don't smoke.
What an irony. Now, in Hindu and Buddhist writings, yoga is described as the only sure way of escaping the endless cycle of reincarnation and the laws of karma, thereby enabling someone to reach the Hindu idea of heaven. Think about it. All of this is idolatry.
All right. That's the last part I'm going to play because it just continues on and on like that. All right. So I want to make my final point as quickly as possible. The religious belief that yoga meditation can stop the process of karmic reincarnation is extremely valid. I've explained to you on what I believe that the soul needs to learn, that your soul, your spirit needs to learn lessons throughout any of its cycles. And if you don't learn those lessons, your soul or your spirit will come back into this world to learn the lessons that it did not learn in its last cycle. And it will repeat this process over and over again until it learns what it needs to learn. So, using meditative force, such as yoga or any sort of spiritual meditation, is very valid. And if if this belief of the meditation stopping the karmic process of reincarnation to where you can go to that higher plane of existence, a heaven or whatever you may call it, then this in and of itself is very valid because meditation, in a spiritual sense, will enlighten your soul and allow your spirit to learn more lessons faster than just walking around doing your day-to-day activities and being a robot. Yeah, I was made pancakes earlier and I got powdered sugar all over me. I'm sorry about that. But and as for it being idolatry, which is the worship of idols, that's like what idolatry is, and this is what people don't understand. They think that just because you have a statue of uh, your god or goddess sitting on your altar, that you're worshiping that idol. And that's not the case. And in this case, doing yoga is not a type of worshiping of any idol at all. Like, you're not worshiping the statue itself. You're worshiping or following what that symbol represents. I can say, I can use the same argument against Christians. Look at the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I was a Christian and I've seen, the whole cross and Jesus sitting up there, one, that's a horrifying image. I mean, that in and of itself is the image of death. So, one, why would you put that up there? And two, that is supposed to be your deity. And you say you don't worship him. Well, we don't worship our statues either. It is an effigy, which means that it takes on the property and gives us a physical existence to what we believe. It's You're not actually worshiping that crucifix of Jesus Christ. Now you're not worshiping that statue. You're not worshiping that plaster model. You're not. I know this. I know you're not. So don't even try to troll me on this. I know you're not. But you got to realize that people who use effigies, and that's what statues are, they're effigies. They're not idols. An idol is on TV and you vote for them. There's there probably are idol worshiping religions out there. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of religions in the world today. And to say that worshiping an idol is bad, I don't understand how it is bad at all. So stop saying idol worship, stop saying idolatry, because you're wrong. Plain and simple, you are wrong. It is a physical representation of what we believe. The same with your crucifixion of Christ. It is a physical representation of what you believe. You don't actually worship it, it's just there to remind you. It's all it is. Anyways, if you do practice yoga, please tell me your experiences down below. I would love to hear it. Um, if you are a Hindu, please let me know on the things that I am ignorant about. Because, yes, even in my infinite knowledge, sarcastically, there I don't know anything about Hinduism. I do know that there are many, 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 many gods. And if I said anything wrong in this video, please let me know, because I don't like being ignorant and I hate sounding ignorant, but I'm human. There's only so much information one mind can process. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Um, Subscribe, like, and again, comment below. And until next time, blessed be.